Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from ESPN Cricinfo.
Yeah, I think so. I think India batted superbly in the first innings, and from that moment we were behind the game. We knew the wicket was going to deteriorate, and it was going to be hard work against their disciplined attack. So we'd like to get to Sydney, win the toss, and have the same thing reversed. Oh, I think it's inexperience, it's pressure, it's India's bowling attack are as good as probably most of these guys have ever faced. So, I think it's pretty clear if you take two or three of the best players out of anyone's lineup around the world, you're going to struggle a little bit at times and you're going to have inconsistent performances, and that's what we're seeing. I thought in Perth, on a really tough wicket, our top six dug in and had a real crack. In this game, no doubt, we're a little bit disappointing, but that's going to happen from time to time. We've just got to try and make sure that we're improving and making sure that our good and our bad is a little bit closer together than what it's been in the last couple of Test matches. But I think it's pretty common that you see that when you've got inexperienced players playing in your top six against high quality bowling. I think they would like to be scoring a few more runs, but at the same time, I think what we've seen is guys are getting starts, so I think they're seeing that they're good enough at this level. It's just probably a little bit of a mind thing where a couple of them need a big score to really truly believe that they belong at Test level and can succeed at Test level. And the other part of it is that India's attack, their pace bowling in particular, has been incredibly disciplined and has worn guys down. So I think that's also a factor why we're having a lot of starts, because they are just bowling really, really well, and they're making it really hard to score, and they grind you down and force you into making a mistake. And when you make a mistake, you're out. So there's a little bit from our side. You've also got to give them a huge amount of credit for the way they've been bowling as a group in this series and for probably the last 12 months. I think the wicket was always going to be a bit of a grind. It was going to be slow, and at times that can expose a bit of a gap between sides, but I just think you have to give India the credit. They won the toss, they batted really well, kept us out there for 2 days, and after that, as I said, we were behind the 8 ball, and it's pretty hard to come back from that. I just think it was plain and simply we were just outplayed, and India deserved to win this test. So Marnus has been added to the squad, so he'll come with us to Sydney, and we'll get up to Sydney, have a look at the conditions. We think it from what we're hearing, it will probably spin quite a bit. So once we see that for ourselves, you try and think about the best combination to win that test. And that's the goal for us, is to get up there and win the series, win the test, and draw the series. Yeah, but I think that's just the way it is. It's modern day cricket. You've got to be able to switch between formats, and you've got to do it really quickly. And as I said, we've got some players who aren't available, and because of that, some guys are getting an opportunity probably before they would have. But again, at the same time, there's been a hell of a lot of talk about our batting and our top six. But as I think you're seeing, if we can get Virat and Pujara out, there's some holes in the opposition's batting as well. So we've just got to be able to score enough runs to give our bowling attack a chance to line them up. And there's a little. We're not scoring a lot of runs, but I don't think India are at the moment, and part of the reason is that both attacks are really, really good as well. Yeah, well, he's coming to Sydney, and as I said, we'll get to Sydney and have a look at the wicket, and that will have a huge factor in what combination of that first 11 looks like going into the next test. But until we get up there, we can't really answer that. But as we've said all along, we know Mitch at his best can offer a lot to Australian cricket. We just need to make sure that he's at his best more often than not, and like the rest of us, that the gap between his best and his worst gets smaller all the time. Again, it's out of our control, isn't it? So as players, our job is to play cricket and turn up where we're supposed to turn up. We don't do the programming, and we can't help it at this stage. I think we're having conversations with the ACA about how we could potentially do it better down the track, and then Cricket Australia and the ACA will work through that. But at the moment, you can't use change of format as an excuse. We're not playing well enough under pressure when it matters, and that's a fact. Whether it's 2020, whether it's one-day cricket, or whether it's Test cricket, it's happening through all three formats at the moment. Yeah, I think physically they're all fine. So they'll come up to Sydney, and again we'll have a look at the conditions before we name our 11. But there's no problems with any of them at this stage. Well, I think that's pretty clear. I think if you took Pujara and Virat out of India's side, I think you'd have the same conversation. If you've got world-class players that aren't in your team, are they going to add to our team? I think they will. So, whilst at the moment it's challenging and everyone's frustrated, it is what it is, and everyone's working as hard as they possibly can, and we're getting guys that are getting experience to high-pressure situations in Test cricket and learning on the job. And as I said, at times you're going to get inconsistency from guys that are in that situation. The silver lining is that we have got world-class players that are available soon to come back into this side, and clearly when they do, it'll make a huge difference. Not that I noticed. Obviously, that we didn't have them on. We were in the change rooms or eating lunch, so I'm sure guys went home that night and listened to them and had their own thoughts on it, but it certainly wasn't discussed during play. But yeah, look, I think what's happened, and we're getting towards the end where those guys are coming back, and I think that's what the conversation should be around now. I think it's all been out there. People have had their say, and the guys have nearly finished their bans and done their time. So I think it's time we started focusing on the fact that they're coming back, and from that there's some real positives.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and leave your comments in the comments section below. Click on the bell icon for notifications.